I like giving money away, but it is something of an effort. But it is never an effort for me to buy a book. Never. I can buy any kind of book, any book at all. I want it up on my shelf. It doesn't matter. I like the newer and the more hardback and the more expensive, the better. Why? Because I get my identity from being an authority, a teacher, a preacher. Oh, you know so much. Okay? So that's the thing I fight with all the time. Is my main identity, does my value really rest in what Jesus Christ thinks of me and how he's loved me and what God thinks of me in Jesus? Is that it? Or is it that people say, oh, you're so smart? Well, it's both, and those things fight. And the way I know that it's still a fight I've got to fight is because of how incredibly easy it is to spend money on books. Effortless, okay? Now, by the way, it's hard for me to spend money on clothes. I don't get much, as you can tell, out of how I look. I get my significant security of how much I know, not how I look. I mean, it would be kind of a lost cause, wouldn't it? But surely there's some people in this room who know that it is absolutely effortless to spend money on clothes. You could do it like that. You do it all the time. What does that show? The money's not the idol. The money shows that the approval you get and the sense of being pretty or the sense of being handsome or the sense of being sleek is way too important to you. And you can say, oh, I believe Jesus Christ is my identity, but actually that's your identity. That's a fight you need to fight. And then there's people who say, oh, I don't spend money on things. I don't have a nice house. You're pretty well off, but you're very proud of how frugally you live. In fact, nobody really knows how well off you are, except you. But the reason why you don't give your money away at the proportions you ought to, the reason why it's all socked away is because it's your way of trying to control your own environment. You see, for you, you're not an approval freak like some of us. And you're not a power freak, you're a security freak, a control freak. And it's your way of saying, through money, I can control my world. People who spend money on the big houses and getting into the circles and wearing great clothes. Money isn't an idol. Money shows you where your idols are, but money is always in the service of an idol. And here's what an idol is. An idol, a false, pseudo-salvific treasure. Jesus says, where your treasure is, there is your heart. It's looking at something like your body or romance or your family or your power or your job or your approval and looking and saying, if I have that, then I know I'm somebody. And we're all looking at something besides Jesus and saying, if I have that, see, we're treasuring something. And our money shows us what we're truly treasuring. And it blinds us. Because like all addictions, addicts don't know what they're addicted to, or they kind of do, but we always minimize. And we kind of know we got a problem with this, and we kind of know we have a problem with that. But the proof is in the pudding. To the degree that your heart is freed from false idols and pseudo-salvations, to the degree your heart is free from these things, you'll be able to give your money away like crazy. And to the degree you have trouble doing it, because you really like to spend it on the house or on your clothes or on securities or on savings or on books, to that degree that you're still in thrall to false saviors. And that's the reason why you're not more generous. And therefore, frankly, let's hear point 3, last point. How are we going to break the power of it?